The village of Dalton is more than $3.5 million in the hole. Mayor Tiffany Henyard is accused of misusing money, and today she's nowhere to be found.
I've never seen any municipality have so many credit cards out there. Orders of going out to eat is mind-boggling.
When you don't answer questions, there's something to hide.
No, Madam Supervisor, we are not brainwashed. We are fed up.
The walls are closing in on Tiffany Henyard, and the once feared mayor is losing allies by the minute. Her inner circle is crumbling as a former assistant has come forward, spilling the beans on Henyard's deep-rooted corruption and questionable dealings. It's safe to say nothing is going her way. Despite her carefree demeanor, panic is clearly seeping through the cracks. With everyone turning their backs on her, the drama is unfolding at lightning speed. We've got all the juicy details you don't want to miss. 1. Former assistant. Dalton dictator Mayor Tiffany Henyard got dealt a major blow from an unlikely source, i.e. one of her own supposed allies. Thornton Township Board Trustee Carmen Carlisle, who everyone thought was firmly in Henyard's corner, suddenly switched sides, accusing the 41-year-old self-proclaimed supermayor of unethical and inappropriate behavior just to boost her influence. The drama ensued as Carlisle's betrayal came right when Henyard was already neck-deep in fraud accusations and facing heat over her questionable spending habits. Looks like even the supermayor couldn't buy her way out of this one. Trustee Carmen Carlisle claimed, "Today, I'm breaking my silence and speaking out against Thornton Township Supervisor and Mayor of Dalton, Tiffany Henyard, who I believe has engaged in unethical and predatory behavior throughout her tenure. For the past 2 years, Henyard has manipulated employees, vendors, and residents, using her position to increase her influence, all while projecting a false image of success, funded by the hardworking taxpayers of Thornton Township and the village of Dalton." The whistleblower admitted that she had kept quiet about Henyard's lavish trip and outlandish spending at recent board meetings because she trusted the administration. But now, that trust has gone up in smoke. "I am standing up not for myself, but for others who have been affected from what I see as Henyard's leadership. I believe that there are many more victims who have been retaliated against, fired, or lied to by Henyard, but have yet to speak out." Sure, Carmen might have taken her sweet time listening to her conscience, but who could blame her? After all, the law seemed firmly in Henyard's pocket while she was busy maxing out those credit cards like there was no tomorrow. And let's not forget, Henyard allegedly had her own little squad of police goons on the payroll, ready to silence anyone brave enough to stand up against her. With that kind of muscle backing her up, it's no wonder people were a bit hesitant to speak out. Now, as you could expect, Henyard didn't take the betrayal lying down. She fired back at her once loyal trustee, coming up with a new nickname and blaming everyone for the charade. It was classic Henyard: deflect, distract, and dish out the drama. "I think I'm going to give you a new nickname, Lion Carlisle. I'm tired of everyone in here. There always has to be a show. At the end of the day, you was on this board. We never talked about this, right? So you should have been putting in the same energy and play when you weren't saying a word a year and some months ago. Did you catch that?" It looks like Henyard has indirectly admitted to foul play. You see, her insinuation is that big of a deal because she has been extremely tight-lipped on this case, even refusing to speak with the media in the absence of her lawyer. Anyway, as soon as Henyard shifted the gears and started to blame Carmen for not doing her job properly, she pulled the curtain on Henyard's assessment. "The reason I didn't ask questions was because I trusted the administration. I trusted the process. The moment I didn't trust the process, I started asking questions. I worked as your assistant. I saw a lot, I heard a lot. The first time I ever really questioned supporting you is when you went on this national platform and you said you didn't know anything about a foundation. But you forget that I was in certain rooms when certain things happened. You were not honest about that foundation. You came to my house after that, unannounced, and tried to get me to say somebody else started that foundation that didn't." Carmen finally had enough of playing the silent sidekick and decided to flip the script, dragging Henyard's sketchy finances to the spotlight. But let's be real, she wasn't the only one reaching the end of her rope. Trustee Chris Gonzalez had been rattling Henyard's cage for months, demanding financial records since day one of her chaotic reign. And when their polite request was met with crickets, they went full throttle and called for a special meeting on August 15 to confront Henyard's questionable spending spree. This wasn't just any meeting, it was more like an intervention. The agenda read like a list of Henyard's worst nightmares, from approving shady payments to a ticking clock deadline for those mysterious invoices. And that wasn't even the juicy part. They were ready to roll out 6 new ordinances tighter than a drum. Travel restrictions, salary cuts, budget lockdowns, credit card rules, and of course a ban on using township swag for personal PR stunts. Carmen and Gonzalez weren't just trying to close the door on Henyard's party, they were ready to slam it shut, deadbolt and all. As a twist of fate, the motion to nominate Henyard was also made by trustee Christopher Gonzalez, and Henyard was voted and sworn in minutes before midnight. Though the name seemed random to many in the audience, it was later revealed that Henyard had applied for this position some time ago. Tiffany Henyard was nominated as a last resort, and that was how Tiffany was appointed to the mayor position. I don't know about you, but Tiffany did not make it to the first round of nominations. They should have taken that as a sign. In the end, it all came down to a ticking clock. Gonzalez later revealed that he didn't want the crucial supervisor decision to be left in the hands of the township electors. Although he had repeatedly pushed for Elston, someone he believed was the right fit, time was slipping away. With the midnight deadline fast approaching and the board deeply divided, Gonzalez made a last-minute move and nominated Henyard, hoping that the urgency of the situation would force the board to unite, setting aside their differences to make a decision before it was too late.
You've been voted the Thornton Township Supervisor. How do you feel right now?
Oh man, I'm overjoyed. Didn't see it coming. I love it. That means that I am truly blessed and everyone loves me. I love them. Thank you.
Fans believe that the Board of Trustees had their own agenda to hide because they did not want the decision to go into the hands of the public. However, the consequences of Gonzalez's hasty nomination were faced by the whole Dalton City. Understandably, the villagers are not happy about this decision, and they're enraged by the turmoil. One of them explained that the senior citizens are deprived of basic necessities because of Henyard's corruption. I am devastated that this woman came into our town and spent all of our tax money. We have senior citizens that can't even afford basic necessities. I suspected it all along. Another added, Tiffany needs to be locked up. She needs to be made an example out of, and that she cannot be using our money and spending it however she wants. Like this job comes with a cash register. Honestly, even if both Gonzalez and Carmen have their own hidden agendas, it's high time for Henyard to lose position. Henyard clearly scrambling to hold on to her privileges, trying to speed past Agenda Item 3. The item called for backup invoices from the finance department, a move that would shine a light on expenditures Henyard seemed all too eager to keep hidden. Gonzalez, however, was not having any of it. He wasn't about to let Henyard sweep this under the rug. You see, ever since Keith Freeman, the former aide who dared to blow the whistle on Henyard's questionable activities, was abruptly fired in July, Henyard had appointed her loyal ally Keith Price to take his place. Conveniently, she had done so without bothering to seek board approval. It was a classic power move, one that spoke to Henyard's desperate attempts to stack the deck in her favor. However, Gonzalez wasn't about to let her off the hook. He pushed back, pointing out that Price had no business handling sensitive financial documents without proper authorization. Henyard insisted that Price's appointment did not need the board's nod, while also trying to convince everyone that he had in fact been approved all along. Anyway, Henyard finally called for a vote regarding the invoices, clearly hoping to bulldoze her way through. But the tide had turned. Trustees Jerry Jones, Chris Gonzalez, and Carmen Carlisle all voted yes, with Henyard's solitary no falling flat. The motion passed, and she lost this round.
All right, is there a second? Second. The motion second. Call roll. Wait, for the record, again, get it from Keith Price. I'm gonna say the wrong person.
The thing is, Henyard is fighting tooth and nail to get her power back. She called a special Thornton Township board meeting in an effort to change recent ordinances that cap spending. But when none of the 4 township trustees showed up, Henyard railed against the measures, saying that they prevent the township from providing services to children and older adults. I'm about to address some things. There'll be no comment, no anything, just me addressing you guys to tell you what's going on. If you want to leave, you can leave. This is me making my statement. You don't want to hear it? There's the door. They were not able to get services, products, gift cards for Big Bingo. On Monday, this town was not even able to buy ice cream for the seniors. They had an ice cream social held at Calumet City, and they could not buy ice cream. You thought it was just a way to stop Tiffany Henyard, but it was a way to basically stop the services here in Thornton Township. Henyard's attempts to nullify the spending ordinance were pretty transparent. She clearly didn't want any more eyes on her questionable spending habits, but Gonzalez wasn't having any of it. After all, this was more than just moving some paperwork. It was about accountability. So as Henyard tried to sidestep the ordinance on providing backup invoices, hoping to keep the board's scrutiny at bay, Gonzalez called her bluff. The board now required every single expense to be pre-approved, a big hit to Henyard's freewheeling ways. And just a way to rub salt in the wound, the board even had to sign off on event budgets before even any money was committed. This led Tiffany to scramble for approvals on several events, including a Friends of Tiffany Henyard picnic. Ironically, this was the name of her campaign fundraising committee. It seemed like Henyard's party was facing a financial hangover of its own, with every cent under the mighty magnifying glass. Not being the one to back down, she still tried one last time, saying, "Do I not still provide for you residents? Do I not have the picnic now because the board didn't come and vote for a picnic that we have every single year like clockwork?" However, Gonzalez shot that down pretty quickly. "I firmly believe that the supervisor is going to continue to make the appearance of a crisis. It's not necessarily the case, but if you're going to make those choices to do other things and opposed to making sure the kids are taken care of, that's exactly the point of why we're in the place that we're at, because that was kind of the going on all along unchecked." Mayor Tiffany Henyard's corruption saga is taking a turn for the dramatic, and it's not just her extravagant spending that's causing a stir. As you know, Henyard is already in hot water for her luxurious lifestyle, but now she's been caught up in a scandal involving a staggering $200,000 payout to OAKK Construction Co., a company with more red flags than a Soviet parade. Interestingly, this payment was for replacing roofs and windows for senior homeowners, and it was all done without so much as a whisper of a competitive bid or a binding contract. Now, who exactly is behind OAKK? None other than Alex Nichov, who was awaiting sentencing for bribing a Cook County assessor for property tax breaks. His family's past isn't exactly squeaky clean either, with a long history of tax evasion schemes and ties to a home renovation bribery scandal involving the infamous former alderman Carrie Austin. And guess what? Austin's still denying any wrongdoing. Classic. Looks like Tiffany and Austin were two peas in a pod, alright. You see, this issue is really of a big deal because by steering contracts to a company with such shady credentials, Henyard didn't just indulge her spending habits, she potentially put the well-being of Dalton's senior citizens on the line. Federal investigators are now knee-deep in this convoluted mess, and Henyard's carefully crafted facade is starting to crumble. It's like watching a soap opera where the drama is real and stakes are high, and the plot twists just keep on coming. Another one of Tiffany's crime associates, Louis A. Lacey, the former Dalton deputy police chief, isn't just in hot water, he's practically boiling. He's being slapped with a 9-count federal indictment. Lacey's been charged with everything from bankruptcy fraud to making false statements and perjury. The former deputy chief of police of Dalton, Illinois, is accused of concealing assets and income to avoid paying creditors and settling a lawsuit, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Northern District of Illinois. You'd think he was auditioning for a role in a crime drama, but this was all too real. The feds say Lacey went to great lengths to hide his money, lying about his income and even pretending to be separated from his spouse. And lo and behold, Henyard was watching his back through all this. Not to mention that Lacey has been an outspoken supporter of the embattled Henyard, who has been dogged in scandal for months after being accused of misdeeds ranging from weaponizing police raids to spending taxpayer money on luxuries in Las Vegas.
Tiffany Henyard to be indicted on federal bankruptcy fraud, and the lawyer tonight for Deputy Chief Louis Lacey tells me this is all part of prosecutors' strategy to get them to turn on Henyard.
It seems like Lacey's lawyer is trying to spin this mess as some kind of elaborate scheme to bring Henyard down. But come on, I mean, when you're buried this deep in your own dirt, the whole "I'm a victim" act just doesn't fly. Gal Pisetsky, Lacey's lawyer, insists his client is innocent and claims the feds are only targeting Lacey to build a case against Henyard. But let's not kid ourselves. Lacey's staring down the barrel of up to 45 years in prison if convicted, and the walls are starting to close in on Henyard as well. The indictment painted a damning picture, claiming that Lacey filed for bankruptcy in 2019, right after a plaintiff tried to enforce a settlement agreement, accusing him of still owing $43,000 of a $55,000 settlement. Not learning his lesson, he filed another bankruptcy petition in 2020. According to the charges, Lacey didn't just bend the truth, he shattered it, making false claims and hiding bank accounts he controlled. Lacey's web of deceit even extended to lying about being separated from his spouse, denying that she lived with him or contributed to his income and mortgage. Yeah, this man is as much of a con man as the mayor he served. Y'all, even residents are calling out Henyard for corruption. A 23-year-old South Holland resident encouraged township leaders to foster civic engagement by taking good faith actions, including making information readily available allegedly about Henyard's antics. You say they want us to be civically engaged. You say they want us to be showing up and present at these meetings. But from my first meeting at Thornton Township, it seems like there's actions being taken that are at the detriment of the citizens of the township. Another resident, Gardis Watts, responded to the comments Tiffany Henyard had made about the voters' choice to vote down a mental health referendum that would have raised taxes in Thornton Township. We are not brainwashed. We are fed up. Nobody said that we don't think mental health was important. We don't just trust you to fix it. You might not know, but Henyard is named alongside Dalton Village trustee Andrew Holmes in a SA lawsuit filed by a Dalton police officer who was a member of Henyard's security detail, as well as a woman who used to work for the mayor. Another lawsuit alleged Dalton officials gave a barbershop owner the runaround in improperly denying a business license. Not to mention, Dwayne Thrash, a former maintenance manager in Dalton, had also slapped her with a lawsuit that's sending shockwaves to the town. Thrash alleged that he was approached by Henyard's close allies in 2023 with a shady scheme to replace the school board's attorney with a law firm handpicked by the mayor's inner circle. When Thrash refused to go along with the plot, things took a turn for the worst. According to the lawsuit, he was abruptly fired while on an approved vacation, under the flimsiest excuses of unsatisfactory work performance and insubordination. The legal filing has demanded that the city erase that part of his inadequate work performance and award him compensation for his abrupt firing. The lawsuit has accused the mayor of multiple offenses, including violating the First and 14th Amendments. Fans believe that at this point, the state should intervene and strip Henyard of her title. It's absolutely mind-boggling that the state does not come in and take the city and township over. None of this is normal, and the state of Illinois should be ashamed. That's it for today. See you at the next one. Goodbye.